Back and ready for another series that I come in tiny bit clueless. I am not that familiar with RyoGin. I've seen his name. I've played probably against him once or twice in the past, but it's a little while ago. Just excited. Hope we get some fun games. Gunnar obviously is a familiar name to the channel. He's always active. He's always playing a lot. We run into him as well on the European server. Should be fun. $100 on the line, provided by BASILISK. 80 for the win, 20 bucks for the loser of this series. Let's enjoy it. Can the Latin American boys continue to impress us?
Let's get it on.
Round 1. Fight!
Top left side of side Delta, it is our Ukrainian Protoss, who is always ready for the big brain bouts, just like his bigger brother, Night Phoenix, I guess. This is Gunnar. I'm a big Gunnar fan, very nice guy, by the looks of it. In the bottom right side, trying to make it 2-0 for our Latin American boys, a Bolivian Zerg player for the first time ever in the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts. This is RyoGin. Or Ryo. Hello Lethal, hello Lino, hello Kukut. A lot of lovely names. It's fun to be back, guys. Even though I've been back home for a couple of days, I've just been taking it a little bit easier. Hello Slowly as well. I've got a fun F1 weekend. I'll be racing, I'll be watching. I always love Baku. I think Baku is a really cool track. I've never been to Azerbaijan, obviously, but it'll be a fun race to attend one day. Not quite SSN, but just bigger brother in the name of same country, same race, slightly higher level. They're not actually related as brothers. Who's Aston Villa playing this weekend, Lethal? Are you guys gonna get slaughtered again? Can't believe that we didn't run into each other in the Champions League. So sad. Everton. Whew. It's gonna be difficult for you guys. That is going to be difficult. At least you have an easier match in the Champions League. Could have been Feyenoord, mate. I don't know who you guys play for us, but it could have been Feyenoord. So you got off easy. I'm doing good. It's Friday. It's fun. It's nice to have a regular Big Brain Bouts again. Obviously, we had 2 editions of Beast of the Hill that I did really enjoy. Something different. We have invited so many different players to play in those free-for-all. So all of that was fun. But it's also cool to just see some regular Starcraft again. Bit of community Starcraft to kick the night off with. Give a few players that are good in this game a chance to win some prize money, but normally not good enough to win a weekly or anything like that. Man, for some... that probe just stopped and I thought my computer crashed. That just made no sense to me that the probe would stop there, and I was like, panic! But no, probe is fine. Elias got you so many Phoenix Wells. Yeah, I enjoy the Beast of the Hills. I actually have something else in mind that I would like to do when I get my Twitch statue that will also involve at least one round of Beast of the Hill. Not with you guys, but with the finest that the Starcraft scene has to offer. This would be very cool. But I have no idea when the statue is coming. They said for 2 to 8 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks have already gone by. And it would be very fun to run that. A couple of Zerglings apparently made it deep into the main base. Gunnar was forced to pull so many probes. That is honestly, I think, a very annoying start. Protoss build orders are incredibly fragile in the beginning of the game. There really isn't a lot of wiggle room. And the moment that you pull so many probes, even if it's just for a few seconds to fight Zerglings, I feel like everything is gonna feel a tiny bit off. Thank you to Loco for the raid. Has Loco been playing any Deadlock yet, guys? I feel like Loco should be... That man is a gamer. The man plays Euro Trucker, America Trucker, Supermarket Simulator. You're not gonna tell me that he plays all those games and he's not playing any Deadlock. I'd be upset. I wanna play some Deadlock with Loco too. We'll get him in the game with Zombie Grub, Fear, Dragon, Claris, Ben and me. Woo! Huh. He's been painting? Yeah, I know. Oh, the adapt, guys. The adapt is not in the correct spot. Gunnar does move it. Great job in that regard. Still a couple of links again running into the main base. This is going to be annoying. Don't forget there's also an Oracle on the other side of the map. Right now as a Protoss you want to be paying attention to your Oracle. You don't want to deal with a couple of Zerglings that are working on your probes. More lost mining time. RyoGin looking pretty quick, pretty sharp so far. Let's see if we've got an answer for this Oracle. We don't really. One queen is not enough. He's doing a lot of good with the Zerglings, guys, but this is painful. Has apparently killed 2 workers, so that is still acceptable. 1 Zergling is still here. More Zerglings on top of the third. They force the cancel. And then losing 5 drones is fine. Guys, RyoGin, look at this. Little life. Maybe life left Korea, went to Bolivia, and he's back. I don't know about attacking, by the way, with roaches right now. I mean, sure, it is a play. And if Gunnar doesn't see it, and at this point, Gunnar's got no idea. But he has seen that there is no lair here. Does Gunnar know, guys? Can Gunnar put 2 and 2 together? Because RyoGin is Omega all in. But I don't think Gunnar is aware of it. So Gunnar makes a few more adepts. He's going to send these adepts out to battle some Zerglings. But it's not about Zerglings anymore. It's about roaches and the Ravagers. And we don't have extra batteries. We don't have a Void Ray. I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of want to be that guy. I think Gunnar is kind of dead. If Gunnar holds this, he is a god tier gamer, but I think it's impossible. I think this is an impossible hold. The floodgates will be opened. We do activate shield battery overcharge very quickly, but the roaches and Ravagers are going to get on top of it. We are going to unpower the battery, unpower the 2 gates as well. And the oracles are going to do that thing, but I think the amount of HP on all these roaches, Ravagers, and now the Zergling showing up as well, it is just a little bit too much. We're going to lose so many workers, if not all of them. And game 1, I want to say, will go to our Bolivian Zergi. Because oracles are obviously not Void Rays. They will run out of energy. They'll run out of firepower. GG gets skull. The RyoGin. Those Latin American boys are cooking tonight, guys. Whew. I should have found another Latin American. You know what? It should have been Calazur against Harston. But I feel Diego is too addicted to Deadlock right now. I don't think he wants to play the BBB. Strong game. Just great Zergling movement. Very high activity with those units. Obviously wasn't totally ready for that first Oracle. Lost a few too many drones. But hey, if you can keep your Protoss opponent that busy. If you can delay the expand. And you can just make it so difficult for them to move the oracles the way that they want to move the oracles. There's a good chance that they won't see roaches and Ravagers coming. A frustrating game 1 for Gunnar. Every Protoss player has been here. You have all these plans of how you want to move your adepts around, where you can find damage, how you stabilize on 3 bases, your follow-ups, the oracle rotations, and then you just die to roaches and Ravagers. Would it finally get in the Champions League? Well, obviously we got 7 teams, right? First match is on Thursday. We've got some pleb team out of Deutschland. One of the weaker competitions in Europe, so it's always nice to run into German teams. We are going to destroy Leverkusen in our first match. Second match, I think we play Girona away, so that should be an easy win. Eventually we'll run into one of the surprises out of the Premier League. Somehow they made it into the Champions League. I believe Manchester City. Then we're going to smack Bayern Munich around. We've got Leo as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe Slavia Prague. I don't know. Slavia Prague is going to be tough. The other teams, they seem pretty doable. It's going to be great. It's going to be a fun season.
Round 2. Fight!
Hello, Sewer Badger. I'm doing great. I'm very happy to be back, enjoying some games. We've got 2 more entire best of 5s after this. The next one is a PvP between 2 hotshots. Not quite the biggest names of their region, but 2 guys that are performing very well in online tournaments. I'm excited for that. And now we're gonna see if our Bolivian men can continue the strong streak of Latin American video gamers so far tonight. Bottom right side, it is RyoGin taking the 1-0 lead. A lot of links, roaches and Ravagers. Top left side, a good friend of mine, a good friend of the channel, it is Gunnar, Ukrainian Protoss. For anybody who just joined, both of these players are around 5,400 MMR. That is, of course, Grandmaster League in this day and age. It's pretty high up in Grandmaster League even. And apparently RyoGin is a very aggressive boy. Maybe he's like a Bolivian pie, you know. Could be. Just loves roaches. Sometimes with 20 drones, sometimes with 30. Once in a blue mood, we try to overcompensate and we go 75 drones and play Mutalisk to make it seem like we don't always build roaches. We all have that friend, don't we? Where is Pi? Pi's been around. I played Deadlock with Pi for like 4.5 hours this morning. On the final day of the Bulgarian tournament, Lethal, Pi showed up and he was wearing a t-shirt, and apparently there was a really big hole on the side of his shirt and he didn't know. So he felt embarrassed and he couldn't go back to the hotel. But I brought a dress shirt, but obviously I wasn't wearing it walking up the hill because the tournament in Bulgaria was held in a national park and you had to make a serious hike to get there. So I'd be all sweaty because it was like 33 degrees. So I was like, well, Pi, what I can do for you, mate, I don't have an extra shirt, but what I can do is give you my Dutch jersey. I was wearing the national jersey of the Netherlands. So Pi was just walking around in beautiful orange all day. And I gotta say, he never looked better. They were very fun, Captain Buggersnot, but after doing it 2 weeks in a row, like, it's not something I want to do forever. Obviously, regular 1v1 is still my main passion, and doesn't mean that we can never do something fun like 2v2, 3v3, or free-for-alls. But obviously, the main thing that I am still drawn to when it comes to StarCraft is 1v1. We had two editions of free-for-alls, now we just go back to the regular ones. Pi actually wanted to take my jersey home as well. I had to ask for it twice at 3 AM. I was like, Pi, when do I get my shirt back? He's like, well, my other shirt still has a hole in it. I was like, well, Pi, what do you think is going to happen? It's 3 AM on a Monday morning. You think you're going to run into the love of your life over here and she's going to reject you? Because, like, we're sitting here with 12 guys that play StarCraft for a living. I think you can wear a t-shirt with a hole in it. Just give me back my shirt, mate. Oh, I just wanted to keep it and I thought I would, like, take it home and wash it and send it back. No. Give me back my jersey. In the end, I got it back though, guys. It's all good. Twilight Council and a Robo this time on the side of Gunner with a lot of gas. Look at this, guys. So Oracle into Twilight Council Robo. Is this the Christianer? Is this where we go for Oracles into double Archon drop with a War Prism? It kind of must be, right? Because I can't really think of any other build where you would need this amount of gas. The Bulgarian tournament was a banger, legit. I feel like all the players had a really good time. Like, it was a tournament that was serious, but at the same time still kind of like chill and just fun. And everybody was relaxing. We all... Not everyone, but most players stayed at the same place, so it was very easy for us to hang out after the event, have some food, have some drinks. It was just a really good time. It felt like old school community StarCraft fun. And we actually had quite a few Bulgarians show up as well. I felt like I made some new friends. Just cool to meet people for the first time. Also met our man Vlad, aka Soda Mad from the chat. He was there, he made the journey from the coast of Bulgaria. He's Ukrainian, but he's living in Bulgaria these days. It was super fun. Yeah, there were long breaks, but obviously Serral, that's something that I've addressed, and that's something that we did try to fix, but it is hard because they don't have the budget like other companies do, where they can have 12 PCs and SSDs and swap them in and out and be ready. So yeah, the breaks were a little bit long. But I think that's one of these things that you just kind of have to take it on the chin, enjoy whatever StarCraft there is, and just realize that it's not going to be as streamlined as an EWC, where the budget is 100 times bigger. I was very happy to go. And the tournament organizers, they're all very passionate, and they were happy that we were there. It just felt great. RyoGin has made a decent amount of roaches. I was thinking maybe once more we're gonna send it, but now he's actually dropped the Hydralisk then. His drone count is not very high. Also does not look like he's got roach speed, guys. I feel like I've seen quicker roaches. Well, that's something we probably want to invest in. Even if his game plan is not to build roaches forever, if we already have this many roaches, we really do need to get that roach speed upgrade. These Archons are going pretty ham at this point. Maybe RyoGin chased out a little bit too far, because you obviously know that War Prisms can just pick up those units, fly into the main base, and the roaches have to take the long way around. And especially if you don't have roach speed. It takes a little while to get your units in the correct defensive position. I would say that RyoGin is in trouble. He is losing this game, but I also believe that Roach Zergling Hydra has a shot. As long as the Protoss is not working with a whole bunch of High Templars with Storm, or a whole bunch of Disruptors, or a whole bunch of Colossus. Oh, Hydra's on creep. Few more hits were needed there. Unlucky. Unlucky for RyoGin. I mean, Storm is on the way now, and the second Robo gets warped in. Man, he's getting everything. Robo base, second Robo, Storm +1. Oh my god, but Connor, you're so crazy. Even after that War Prism lost all of the shields and a little bit of the real HP, he didn't click at home. He went back for more. Uh-oh. He's gonna paying attention, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm watching Gunner's point of view right now. I'm watching Gunner's point of view. He sees it on the minimap and he moves the prism. Loses the observer, but saves the prism. Alright, and at this point he says, that's enough. I'm going to recall. RyoGin is going for Lair Attack Larkus. Now has Roach Speed finishing up, by the way, so that's a good thing. It feels that it's impossible for... It's not impossible for Gunner to lose. But if he does things correctly, then it's impossible. Because his army is very good. We need to cancel this Nexus. He does not cancel it. Maybe a bit of that ping coming into play. Obviously Ukraine to NA. That is 400 minerals down the drain. I think he's done enough things right in this game that he can take a little L like that and still be winning. Because this is a Protoss army. If you don't do a Roddy here, guys, if you don't move command, if you don't take the worst fight ever into a bunch of lurkers, this should not be able to go wrong. Yeah, thank you so much. Draconix, mate, you played really well. Congrats. That man just won the TVZ, won $60. And you just played awesome. I never really got to see you play before, but I thought you played really well. Great unit movement. Fantastic harass. A well-deserved victory. Zerglings activate the stasis trap, but honestly that may have been a good thing because the disruptor was ready to fire. Lurkers are going to burrow. Now just be careful with all your High Templars. As long as you don't lose all the High Templars, Death Nova is decent. Killed one lurker, softens up the second. Did we cancel that Nexus, guys? We did cancel it this time. Gunner is having a hard time spending his money at the moment. Maybe he's just like not certain what he wants to spend it on. Or he wants to use his War Prism for Zealots with charge on the other side of the map. Just build like 4 pilots right now, mate. Make life easy. 4 pilots at once. Make sure you're not supply blocked anymore for the rest of the game. And then you'll be fine. These 4 Zealots will not get a lot done. Maybe Zealots in the main base a tiny bit more successful. But obviously, the more time that goes by, the more that it is going to favor our Ukrainian Protoss. This is an army, guys. This is an army. Now, I don't know if we really have to walk on creep right now. This is definitely not, I think, the moment to go for it. We're not having to worry about Hive Tech Zerg yet. Obviously, when I start that sentence, the man fires up the Hive. But it still takes a long time before Hive is done and Vipers are out. Who is Mute? And Mute is our Peruvian sensation from the Bruno and Proto tournament on the Monday night. That was a run so good that you get an inside invite to the Big Brain Bouts. I've told you guys all along, for these 2 years at this point, that we are running these show matches on the Friday night. If you do well in any of the weekly tournaments, I will reward you for that immediately. And Mute didn't just do well, the man did beyond amazing. I don't know if Gunner should be on creep, guys. Like, his army is better, don't get me wrong. But on creep, he could absolutely get surrounded. And then you can have to potentially, like, drop all those panic storms on top of your own army. And you can lose all the High Templars. Just take it slow, man. Take it slow. If we're building Colossus, I don't hate that, but get extended thermal lens. RyoGin could potentially set up a surround. Couple of lurker shots connecting the Novas. Oh my goodness, the Novas are good. The first ones were like okay, but one Nova literally exploded in the dead center of all these Hydras. And that is minus 20 supply on the side of RyoGin, who's counting down the seconds until he can get these Hive Tech upgrades. Seismic Spine is gonna make his lurkers a bit better. Maybe a few Vipers. Now obviously that Hydra ball looks a lot less intimidating. Another solid Nova there. Kills a lurker, softens up the second one. In the end, we'll be able to kill the second one too. That Nova still clips 2 Hydras and a Roach. I mean, Gunner is just finding amazing traits here on Golden Aura. Since the very beginning of this game, it kind of feels that everything that Gunner has done has been good enough to potentially walk away with the victory here. The Zealots are derping a little, but it does allow him to get on top of the Lurkers, maybe get a few more Hydras. RyoGin does have money. He is going to make the rookie mistake of building some Broodlords. It's like, wow, tier 3 flying unit must be very good, right? The Zerg capital ship. I don't know. What if we just remove Broodlords altogether, guys, and give Zerg Leviathan, a hero unit? They can only build one of them. What do you think about that? Is that something you guys might be interested in? Oh my god, these Novas are mental. Gets the double kill on the Lurkers on the left side, and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. And then he lands another one. That sent his Zerg army. RyoGin had all the fun in game 1 with those Zerglings, harassing probes, cancelling a Nexus, going for the Droidling all in. It really is Gunner who's having all the fun here in game 2. Does lose an Oracle, but just pretend we didn't see it. I wonder if there's a world where this goes wrong for Gunner, but this doesn't really seem like that is a storyline that I really need to roll with. Gotta say, this is still the kind of army that if you surround it, you can take a really good fight. But right now, RyoGin's army is just not that great. What he does have is a tiny Zergling run by into the main base. There are no cannons or batteries here, so this is somewhat annoying to deal with. The Lings have +2 melee. Okay, we are finding damage. Zealots are also going to find a lot of damage at that 6 o'clock base. Protoss army is accidentally running into this hatchery, but apparently we go for the recall. The Broodlords of RyoGin taking a surprisingly good fight. And Gunner is going to respond with Void Race. That is a bold... Oh my god, no! All of the Disruptors were left behind. And this time the splits on RyoGin's side are good. Mate, use your Zerglings here. Please trap those Disruptors. RyoGin, you can move your army to the right. Why don't you do it? You're chasing them already. He could have just trapped all of them and picked all of them off immediately. He will be able to find most of them besides 1 or 2. Yeah, just a single Disruptor in the end made it out. Gunner's supply has suddenly plummeted as he is waiting, relying almost at this point on 2 Void Rays to save the game. How the hell did this happen? Oh, Gunner matey. I mean, Void Rays are going to have to battle a couple of Hydras, guys. And these Hydras are kind of hidden. The Nova is going to try to take care of them. What is happening? Why are these games so weird and chaotic tonight? Gunner is in trouble. Our Ukrainian Protoss, who did almost everything right, is in serious trouble. As Broodlords and Lurkers are here. Zerglings are trapping another Disruptor. I can't believe it. A few Desperation Storms go down. If Gunner can just spend his money one way or the other, he should be fine. We've got DTs coming in from the bottom, but I see a couple of Overseers there. The Storms are humongous. The Storms are massive, and these Storms are then good enough. As suddenly we spend most of our money on Stalkers. Stalkers have a hard time getting on top of Lurkers. And what a fight. Another 6 Storm here on the side of Gunner, who has lost the base, has lost a lot of supply. Is trying to storm his way through the Lurkers. Do we have any observers at all? 0 ops. We do have a couple of Void Rays. He's going to try to pick up the final Hydras. And then he's going to push RyoGin back for now. What am I looking at, guys? Hello, Chess. Thank you for the 31 months, matey. Gunner still has this base, chilling in the top side. A lot of resources left. We're suddenly pretty Stalker heavy. Against 8 Lurkers, 4 Broodlords, 11 Hydras. We've lost all these. The Protoss army was so much better a while ago. I'm worried here for Gunner. This is an army that does not do well on crit. It just doesn't do very hot on crit. Running into Lurkers with this kind of an army. Let me tell you, I know a guy who tried. You're looking at him. Did not go well. It did not go well. No matter how many Lurkers or how many drones and bases you've killed throughout the game. If you give them 10 Lurkers and this is how many Stalkers you have, yeah, it's gonna be tough. And even those few Immortals on the ground won't make the difference. Gunner does find this base at 3 o'clock, kills 11 drones immediately. A Corruptor is gonna grab the base as well. That is a big win. That is an excellent pickup against a Zerg that's not quite maxed out yet. What are we gonna do now with this army? Do we recall it? We might have to recall it. The Zerg is just going for it. Zerg turns around. Zerg is going for it. We're gonna burrow the lurkers, maybe. He is gonna burrow the lurkers. There's no detection here, guys. There's no detection in this army. No, it's not just the Broodlords, mate. It is not just the Broodlords. And the Protoss ground army just melts. We have a couple of carriers coming in, but the Hydras are move commanding underneath the carrier. First carrier goes down immediately. I don't think Gunnar can deal with this anymore. He has recall, whatever he could recall. Maybe a battery overcharge for the ages. A couple of 6 storms. First one is sick, the second one is so-so. The Latin American players are cracked today. GG gets cold. I can't believe it. I can't believe it that he found a way to win this game. But he did. RyoGin. Honestly, guys, that North American server is so much more difficult than that European server. At this point, I'm swapping out my passport. I don't know which country wants to take me. Maybe Canada. I feel like they're sweet. Maybe I can put in a good word with the old places where I used to live and work in America, because I am done. NA is greater than Europe. That was actually a crazy victory. Oh, poor Gunnar. Had all the bases, all the splash damage, all the gateway units. Just that recall on the right side wasn't really it. Broodlord surprised him a little bit. Obviously leaving all the disruptors behind just made it so much more difficult to keep the ground army at bay. We really gotta give it to RyoGin. He just made some absolutely wild attacks. He just grabbed everything and just ran it through the dead center of Golden Aura. And put his lurkers and brutes in very good positions. Canada will take it. I believe Canada would take me. I have a very good record in Canada. America is questionable, but I've always behaved in Canada. No, I don't have a Neil TV. Rexy! Thank you so much, Rexy. You need to leave, but go Protoss. We'll definitely have a Protoss winning in the next best of 5. Thank you for stopping by, Rexy. Appreciate it, mate. See you soon. I watched the Netherlands versus Germany with Rexy. And Rexy too could not believe how lucky Germany was getting. Rexy said, normally I am a fan of Germany. I like the team. I like the country. He normally supports the national team of Deutschland. But he too could not believe his eyes. The absolute robbery that took place in Amsterdam a couple days ago. A game that should have ended 5-6, 7-0, you name it. It could have been it. Somehow it ended in 2-2. And then those Germans, they're like, oh, the referee was against us. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Even Rexy admitted that this was robbery. Thank you, Dark Miso, for the 89 months. I really appreciate everyone stopping by today, guys. I know it's been like almost 2 weeks that we had a proper stream, or not quite 2 weeks. I guess the last Monday, the first ever edition of the Rodicolaris and Steadfast Cup, was like the last proper stream we had. It's good to be back with a Big Brain Bouts on a day where BASILISK had a big announcement. We'll obviously take another look at that soon. TLDR, we have a new member joining us on the name of Science. Big YouTuber. That man plays games and educates. And he's now a member of the BASILISK family. And we welcome him with open arms. And there is a giveaway too. I'll show you guys that giveaway after this game.
Round 3. Fight!
Will he play in WTL now? He's not quite joining the Starcraft team. BASILISK is more than just the Starcraft team. Even right now, Starcraft is the only esports that we are competitive in. But the goal of BASILISK is a lot bigger than just get Reynor and Serral and Trigger and sometimes somebody else on the team. And that is it. Let's win some Starcraft tournaments. Science victory, baby. It's bigger than just one game. In the bottom left side, trying to continue the domination of Latin America tonight. We had a Peruvian Terran beating a Finnish Zerg. Now we've got this man from Bolivia taking the 2-0 lead. One map away from winning $80. This is RyoGin. Or RyoGin. Nations League, Netherlands versus Champions League. Madrid, who wins? I don't get the question, Macca. I mean, Madrid is very good. But I don't think they would beat the national team of the Netherlands. I think we are actually, at this moment, I want to say by a pretty large margin, the best football nation on the planet. And it's not the first time. In the top right side of Alcyone, we are looking at the main base of my Ukrainian Protoss friend. He had all the tech in the world, all the High Templars, all the Disruptors, all the Colossus. And we couldn't get the job done. We even had a strong economy as well. He'll be kicking himself a little bit for that game to defeat, but he can still turn things around. Can we win 3 games in a row? That I don't know. This is gonna. Again, going for a different opening here, by the way, guys. This time it is a Twilight Council right off the get-go. So maybe this is gonna bring out some good old Resonating Glaive Adepts. There is a downside to playing Resonating Glaive Adept, and that is that it is somewhat weak against some Zerg all-ins. I think some of the cheeky Zergling Baneling all-ins can catch you off guard if you don't know that it's coming. Roaches early on could be problematic if you don't see it coming in advance. Let's see. RyoGin went for a very interesting route through the top left side, trying to hide these Zerglings. But Gunnar has learned. Has now picked up on the fact that his opponent loves to get down and dirty early on. He's trying to disrupt his build order, so he keeps the Adept at home, and that is a very solid choice. Find all the Zergies. Yeah, there are not too many left, but... Now I found RyoGin through Mute. I just kind of contacted Mute, because Mute did so good in the Proto and Bruno tournament, that I said like, hey, since I'm having you play, it would be fun if you can think of a few more Latin American guys that want to play. And he said, let me take a look. And obviously I knew Tavo, because he played before. So Tavo wasn't available. And he said, well, this man is not from Peru, but he's from Bolivia. I said, sounds good. And I've seen the name before. I'm somewhat familiar with RyoGin. Draco Nix, I really wasn't that familiar with, but he played really good too. 4 Gateway, a Resonating Glaive Adept. RyoGin has Zerglings on the right, Zerglings on the left, and is building his Roach one. I don't want to say that it's late, but it might still get a tiny bit tricky here. But I guess all these Zerglings will at least keep the Protoss at home for just a little while longer. I think it's okay. Roach 1 about to finish up. It is super important, guys, that RyoGin immediately builds Roaches. And what I'm worried about right now for Gunnar, guys, is that when you play a build like this, you kind of give the Zergs an open invitation to build nothing but Roaches, Lings, and Ravages. And that is obviously something that he already really likes to do. Do we have a Warp in available? We do not. We're going to try to save it with a Pylon, and that Pylon is good, but the Adept does die. Now the Zerglings can turn around. I like the Dark Shrine. I think the Dark Shrine is a 10 out of 10 choice, because that could keep you safe against that counterattack. If the Zerg indeed wants to do nothing but spam basic units of hatchery tech, then hopefully that Dark Shrine will be online in time. You can build a couple of DTs and deal damage on the other side of the map, but more importantly, don't die at home. A 4 worker lead, but obviously 2 bases for that man with the 4 worker lead. 3 bases on the side of RyoGin. No tech yet though, guys. No tech means no detection. There's so many Roaches and Ravages already, and he's building nothing but Links. You're gonna send these Adepts back. Dark Shrine now, 75% done. I said it in game 2, but I will say it again here in game 3. I think this looks really good for Gunnar, but it doesn't mean that he's there yet. Don't go too ham, by the way, on the offensive DT warpins. I think you can do 2 DTs here, but I don't think he should do more. I think 2 DTs is the magical number. Now, RyoGin is going to see this immediately, and that means that he's got some time to build Spore Crawlers, and he should know that DTs can also be warped in at home, and I wouldn't really go for this fight. I mean, he does have a lot of supply, to be fair. Maybe a sentry is needed actually on the side of Gunnar. This is going to be so hectic. We need a good overcharge. We really need a good overcharge. A lot of drones are dying. There is no detection on the side of the Zerg. He's going for the Cyber Core. That overcharge will buy some time. Will buy enough time to actually keep these Zerg units away for a little while longer. And the next warping should be ready. 2 more DTs. 4 Dark Templars, guys, against a Zerg with no detection. That's a lot of dead Roaches. At home, it's a lot of dead drones. Gonna play this really well. Great build order choice. 10 out of 10 call on the Dark Shrine. Without the Dark Shrine, he'd be dead. The man legitimately, I think, be dead. A single Immortal is not gonna save you there. An Archon out of a Templar Archives is not gonna save you there. I think it's a very, very good call to go for the Dark Shrine. I think RyoGin never got into the main base. Actually, no, maybe he did with Overlord early on. But it doesn't really matter, right? If you don't see any oracles. If you don't see a Phoenix, you don't see a Void Ray, but you see a bunch of adepts being warped in, then obviously you kind of know, right? The only tricky thing is that for a Zerg is that there are so many different follow-ups for a Protoss player. It could have been a Dark Shrine, but it could have been many other things. In the past, it was very often double Stargate Phoenix. These days, more often, it's just Sentries and Immortals and then 2 bases or 3 base all-in. Could be all-out macro play as well with Quick Storm behind it. So many different things to worry about. I think RyoGin said, you know what, I'm up 2-0. I'm just gonna send it. And if that man does not have a Dark Shrine, I think I can kill him. And I think we can all agree that it would have been a very, very difficult hold for Gunner. But he did have a Dark Shrine. And now it's RyoGin who's in trouble. And he knows it. Those are a few Zerglings here. He's gonna be able to pick up the battery perhaps. He just has no answer for the army. Last game, the man really turned water into wine with a late Hive Tech transition, but a couple Lurkers with their upgrades. A few Broodlords managed to turn everything around eventually. This time I just don't see that happen. In Ghana's defense bully, when I played against Yogo in the caster tournament, I felt very confident. There was this one build that I was worried about because I'm very stubborn and I always scout it in a certain way. I was like, as long as he doesn't do like the 20 drone Roach Ravager Ling all-in that hits it like minute 4, I'm gonna be fine. I load into the first game, Kairos Junction, I do my usual scouting, I go back home, I drop my Twilight Council, I research Resonating Glaive, I die at minute 4. He went for the Roach Ling Ravager all-in. I was like, well, if only we could have seen it coming, you know. The one thing that I said I was worried about, somehow, it killed me immediately in the first game. It's a lot of Archons, it's a lot of Immortals. It's a beautiful army, by the way. This is like when the boys are ready for a fun night in Stara Zagora. Liquid Clem is the champ, he's just a stalker, he doesn't need to dress up. They will always let the champ in. And then the boys are following. RyoGin is going to spam some corrosive balls trying to buy time for a RotterdaM, but this is not a fair fight, guys. This is one of these hands of the keyboards moment for Gunner, and he too will get his first W on the board. Is that going to be good enough to eventually turn this around? That I don't know. But it is good enough to at least prevent a night of non-3-0 so far, and we all like that. Overall, strong game. One of the better Dark Shrines that you're going to see in a little while. And it also did feel that Gunner knew that this was going to happen the moment he would open up with 4-gate Resonating Glaive Adept. Because RyoGin clearly loves to be aggressive, loves to build a lot of units early on. So it just kind of felt where he's like, I think I know what you're going to do in the response to my build. So I have the response for your build. And then life is good. And life was absolutely fantastic. Could be a day of 3-1s. My Discord, there were a couple of very spicy predictions for our next best of 5. I was very impressed by the run of Mute. A great run in that American tournament that was played last Monday. But seeing multiple people predict him to 3-0 Sabatas, I was like, man, that's a pretty spicy take. Because Sabatas is really good. So, no news yet, it's Zizou. But I think it's looking good, mate. You're washed. If you're washed, you're on the wrong team, Sep. I think you want to take those words back, mate. You're an up-and-comer. If you're washed, Team Roddy is not the team for you. I guess end of the month. How many? 17 days? Yeah, that's gonna be some spicy negotiations with the old man. Go ahead and hop into game 4.
Round 4. Fight!
Bottom left side of Crimson Court, our Bolivian Zergy, still up 2-1, loves to be aggressive. Crimson Court, a map where maybe we can do something funky with that rich Vespine geyser in the center of the map. $80 on the line for the winner of this best of 5. This is RyoGin. Why Basilisk logo in lower right is on D8? You tell me. Maybe Jeff has an answer for you, man. Top right side of Crimson Court, we are looking at the main base of the man who managed to get a point on the board with the power of the invisible guy with a sword. That's for Ben. This is gonna. I wasn't streaming earlier today, but I already got bullied by Ben. Is this how you say sword? Fuck you, Ben. I try not to curse too much, but I think once in a blue moon, a fuck you, Ben. Completely okay. Basilisk approves of it. They love Ben, but they know he deserves it. Thank you by the way to Melski Loco. Here's a sexy American Prime for you. Do they hit different when they come out of America? And yeah, I think I already answered Itzizu. So no official news yet, but honestly, yeah. A while ago I said it was scary, but I was still kind of positive. And now that a few weeks have gone by, I feel a lot more positive. I think there will be news from ESL. I think we have a lot of stuff to look forward to. I know, Dr. Teddy. Apparently in the past I didn't know. And I just read it and I said sword. And Ben is like, what? You're pronouncing the W? And I was like, oh my god, leave me alone. I was like, well, what do I know? I definitely don't get $10 for it, Magnet. Have you heard of the Neo DN? And now I say, what is DN? And you say, these nuts. And I'm like, ah. You think you're gonna get me, mate? I have Reynor in my DMs on a daily basis. Come on now. Do I look like I was born yesterday? What is RyoGin working on over here? Why is he working on these rocks this early? This is a really good map to be annoying. But RyoGin has not taken the forward hedge. He is not going for that rich Vespian geyser. I think Gunner will still feel confident as long as he doesn't die early on. As long as he's not in all sorts of trouble at minute 5, I think he will feel confident. Even though Golden Aura, he had everything working for him. And that really should have always been a Protoss victory. On this level, and these guys are good, that should have been a Protoss win. He knows that, and he'll probably be a bit annoyed. But that should not deter him from playing another macro game. Now, I don't know what these adepts are doing here, but I guess we can activate Pulse of him. Good save. Honestly, a bit risky. Is the Oracle still active? Yes, it is. I would have already cancelled Pulse Beam there, and I would have been fuming. The Zerglings are going to work on the Nexus, but not quite in high enough numbers to really get the job done. Second Oracle on the way, with a very early Twilight count. So maybe this is Oracles into Resonating Blade. So slightly different than before. First Oracle is on the left side of the map, second one is about to come out. I want to say we are fine to deal with these Zerglings for now, but we do really need to use that second Oracle. The Adepts move, one of them gets surrounded immediately, Pulsar Beam gets activated, good save. Couple of close calls so far by Gunner, guys, but everything is working out for the men from Ukraine. First Oracle is now behind the main, Zerglings working on that Nexus again. Don't think that Nexus is in danger of dying. RyoGin is being annoying here. And I gotta say, he's doing a really good job in droning up while still building a decent amount of links. It's almost like he's defending against the Adepts and Oracles by being aggressive. And it's kind of working. Gunner seems to be having a very difficult time finding some damage on the other side of the map. Yeah, but for a man with only 4 queens, it did feel that those queens were in all the right positions. Playing double evolution chamber here, by the way. That is quite something. You don't see double EV very often. Hydra Link, double EVA. All the attack upgrades. +1 missile attacks, +1 melee. I love it. We're following the Nurture way of life. A long time ago, Nurture was the first Zerg player to not go 2 evolution chambers and only 1. And then they asked him about it at an event. And Nurture said, Protoss units one-shot everything anyway, so armor upgrades are useless. And that quote lives rent-free in my head. I love it. I still think back of King Arthur every now and then. Gunnar is thinking about being a tiny bit aggressive here with triple Oracle and a few Stalkers, but the Stalker count is just not quite high enough to really go in deep. I don't know how much Gunnar saw there. It's super important for Gunnar to... Wow, Lurker then as well. Man, this boy is wild. They play different, huh? They play different over here in Latin America. I kinda like it. I feel like RyoGin legitimately playing a pretty strong series here so far. And the Stalkers could be in trouble there. I think even the Oracles would have had a hard time saving them against all these links. But I guess RyoGin doesn't really want to take a fight before +1 melee and +1 missile attacks are done. I mean, he is going up to 4 bases now. But he could still be aggressive with lair attack lurkers as well. Links are going to work on one of the cannons. Oh, is there a gap? No. Good job by Gunnar. If this was Hero, all of these Zerglings would have ran in. But and Hero is also like bam 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 warp in. Bam 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 bam. And kills everything, loses 1 probe. And it's like, huh. That Zergling run by worked out in favor of Hero. Seems like Gunnar is just going to go for a somewhat similar approach to Golden Aura. He just killed one of his probes there, but I think that's because he needed 1 available supply to build another Immortal, as he was temporarily supply blocked. That probe probably said like, why you say F me for? What did I do? What will RyoGin do? We've got a Lurker then. We've got a lair attack. We've got a lot of links. We have a couple of Lurkers. He's going for it. Immortal count at the moment a little bit low. If these if these Lurkers start burrowing in range of the gateway, in range of the battery, in range of the first Immortal, this is gonna be hard. Storm is done, but it's hard to run in range of Lurkers. Gunnar needs to be careful. The first Storm is pretty good. That battery overcharge is amazing, by the way. That actually allows the Immortals to kill the 2 Lurkers over here in the front. But now the Stalkers and High Templars are forced to battle the Lurkers on the bottom. The Immortals are going to get surrounded. The RyoGin with some spicy Bolivian aggressive strategies here. I think he's going to get it done. These High Templars are so exposed, and in your natural Zerglings and Hydras are dancing. A few Storms do land, but more Lings and Hydras are going to show up. And the final few Lurkers, I think they're a bit too difficult to take care of. RyoGin was aggressive, the way I guess we know Latin American Starcraft. Our men from Peru got a 3-1 victory over Cold Bar. And it seems that more American Buckies will be sent to Latin America, as it is RyoGin on his debut, getting a 3-1 victory over Gunnar. And Gunnar is 5,400 MMR on the European server, so really impressive stuff. The NA server is just putting on a clinic tonight. Those European boys are being sent back to the drawing board. Damn. It's very impressive what they are doing. Back-to-back at 3-1 victories. That is awesome. What is the right counter against Hydras? Honestly, a lot of Protoss units do incredibly good against Hydras. But obviously, if Hydras show up in high numbers early on, they can be powerful. Hydras have a very difficult time in general fighting in range of static defenses. So batteries and cannons are fantastic. Obviously, if you can get Colossus, it's amazing. Disruptors are great. Storm is great, but what is super important is being in the right spot. If Hydras are forced to run into a Protoss army that can storm, Hydras will melt. But if Hydras take control of a location and they're backed up by Lurkers, yeah, then High Templars are not that good anymore, because they basically need to run in range of the Lurkers before they can drop good storms. Just very solid games by RyoGin as he walks away with AD Buckies. We'll settle this prediction and get ready for our co-main event of the evening. There's a sick UFC, by the way, this weekend too. That was also sick, guys. 20 gifted subs. Let's go. So many gifted subs today. 20 gifted subs and Pokimane just went live. All of that at the same time. Can you believe it? You guys believed in RyoGin, man. Okay. Man, my chat is so smart. You guys are smarter than me. I'm away for 2 weeks. And it's a completely different scene. RyoGin against the Dub. Alright. So next up, it is Mute versus Sabadas. A best of 5, 125 bucks on the line, 125 split. It is our co-main event of the BBB number 68. What are we going to do for number 69, guys? Gotta be something nice, right? Mute, Peruvian Protoss. Sabadas. Des. Honestly, the first S is silent, by the way. In case you guys are wondering. So I call him Sabadas because the first S is silent. Czech Republican Protoss. Give you guys 15 minutes. It's not? I thought the first S was silent. The second S, no, the first S is silent. Thank you so much to Basilisk for the 20 gifted subs. I showed you guys earlier, but Basilisk had an announcement today, as they have partnered up with somebody from outside of the Starcraft 2 scene, but a man who's all about those science victories. And there is a giveaway as well. You guys can participate in that giveaway if you want to win something cool. And I'm trying to find our Twitter account, and I have found it. This is the link. We can take a little look at the video again before maybe HeroMarine and Hearthstone play against each other. But basically, TLDR is that we welcomed Kyle Hill, a man who is very focused on educating the masses while playing some video games. And there is a giveaway to welcome him partnering up. And yes, he does look a lot like Chris Hemsworth. Is that his name? Honestly, at first I thought it was him. I was like, man, this guy's so handsome. What is he doing with us nerds? But apparently he just loves gaming. He loves the science. And he knows that the victories are found over here. The WTO code as champs. So there is a giveaway. I have not entered because I already have a cap. Not one with any autographs, but I signed my own cap. I put my own autograph on it, and I was like, that's it. I love that in his welcome video, he was like, man, I love it. I'm on the same team with Serral and Reynor and Ristic Studies. I was like, Trigger, Roddy? He's like, nah. Like, 3 of the 5 guys on Basilisk are really cool. And I was like, all right. Well, we'll take that, guys. So we'll take a tiny break, and after that, we'll be back. And later tonight, we'll take a little look at his welcome video once more. Yeah, maybe he just hates Protoss players. Like, man, those Zerg players, they participate in science. But those Protoss operators, he's like, I've done enough HeroMarine viewing that I know that those operators, that ain't science what they are doing. Do you think O'Malley walks through Mirror this weekend? No, I don't think so. I think it'd be very close. But yeah, I'm excited to watch that, man. A UFC event in the Las Vegas Sphere, one of the coolest buildings on this planet. So I'm excited. We'll talk more about that later. I'll take a tiny break, and then it's PvP time. $100 for the winner, $25 for the loser. It's great to be back. Thank you, Athil. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye. Put all those imaginary internet channel points on the line, guys. Big PvP coming up. Can Europe fight back, or does Latin America just own us? Starting to feel like we already got owned. But I'm very happy for the LA guys. It's a scene that I don't think gets enough love. And clearly they've got some very competitive and great players there. Couple minutes, and then we'll have a PvP. Peru versus the Czech Republic. Bye.